What's going on, guys? So, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a video on my BBbarfly Pro V2. V2, different blade. I don't really know what's different from the Pro V2 and the Pro V1. I know it's just better, obviously, since it's a V2. So, just to start off with the knife, it's freaking amazing. I was highly impressed when I picked this up and started flipping it. So, this isn't going to be a review on it, because I don't know the full specs of, like, the length, handle material, blade material, screws, washers. I don't know what they're made of. I don't know the weight and stuff like that. This is going to be more of an impression video of, like, what I think about the knife. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. So, we're going to get the pros, and we're going to do pros, cons, and just things just to point out about the knife that I know of. So let's get the goods over with the knife, because I mean this is probably gonna be a long video because this knife is freaking amazing. So I'm gonna gush over it for a little while. So the pros on this knife is this thing is super smooth, beautiful handle swing, really no play, no tap, and this is all because it runs on bushings. So this is, I believe, BBbarfly's second or third Bally with bushings. I know their Pro V1 had bushings, and I thought their OG2 had bushings. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I know their Pro V1 had bushings. I believe so. I think they did. I'm not sure, but I believe their Pro V1 and Pro V1.5 had bushings. So the bushings are super well done. They're properly fitted. They're not over or undersized, to my knowledge. I don't feel any, like, I haven't messed with the pivots or anything, but I don't think they're under or oversized bushings, because I've never had to tighten the knife. I've never had to tune it. I've oiled it once, like, a week after I got it. So yeah, besides that, this knife is pretty amazing. All it really needs out of the box is just some oil, some KPL, BM Blue Lube, just something like that to lube up the pivots and the bushings. And when this thing is like lubed, this thing sounds amazing after it's being lubed. I think I have a highlight on my story of this thing being lubed. It's amazing. So now that I'm done going off of how smooth this knife is, let's go over the handles and how grippy these handles are. These handles are super grippy. They're very thick handles, from both, like, they're wide and thick handles, which is a good thing. I mean, they're almost a little too grippy, I guess, because when I do chaplains, it flies off my finger. That was just a bad chaplain. But it's because the knife is so grippy, the blade grips my finger too much, and it ends up rolling my finger like that. So besides that, besides the knife being a little too grippy, the handles are quite amazing. This is the best trick you can do with it, but I'll get to that in a second. But the handles are super, super nice. I will go over some cons and just things to point out about the handles in a little while. But they're nice handles. If you flipped a barfly, they're super nice handles. I don't know what the coating is, but the coating makes it, like, whether you have wet, dry, cold, hot hands, the handles are going to grip. Your hands are going to grip to the handles either way. So staying on the side of the handles and kind of moving, or staying on the subject of the handles and kind of moving to, like, the entire knife itself. This knife is super, super easy to manipulate. Twirl, rollovers, just really anything. The knife is just easy to flip. It's super predictable. It's super it's not like, you pick up the knife and you're like, oh, it does this. I was expecting that. You know what the knife is going to do. You know, like, it's like, especially in aerials, it's very predictable. Parabolics, it's really predictable. It's just easy to flip because the balance. I'll go over the balance and things to point out, but it's just something about the knife makes it super easy to, like, just throw around your fingers, not having to worry about anything. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just how good this knife is. You just throw it around your fingers and it does what you tell it to do, which is kind of amazing. Which, another thing that I really like about this knife. So, this knife obviously isn't perfect. So, we're going to go over the things that I don't like about this knife. Things I personally don't like. So, I know this is like basically just, you don't rant about something like this, but I'm going to anyways. The Zen pin nipple is really, really, really just, it's there, and if you don't be careful, you're getting pinched by it really bad. So, any just normal rollover type move, if you don't be careful and you don't move your finger, like, see, normally I do rollovers all the way up here, but that Zen pin nipple is going to pinch you super hard. So now that see, normally, yeah, like I said, normally I do rollovers all the way up here. But if I do that, I'm, like, getting pinched really bad. So I got to move my finger down to at least here so I don't get pinched. And that might be a problem with flipping if you're, like, seriously into flipping like me. You have to kind of change up your style a little bit to, like, not get pinched. You have to move your fingers in ways that you don't normally do. You have to move your fingers down. You just kind of have to change your whole style of the knife when flipping, which is weird, but I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. But if you're, like, stuck to your style and you don't want to change how you flip, I don't necessarily recommend this knife. But if you don't have a problem changing the way you flip a little bit, this knife is freaking amazing. So besides the how bad it pinches, another thing about it that I personally don't like is how short this knife is. Like, this is my hand. I'm 14 years old. This is my hand. It's in a closed position. It fits in my hand, like in the palm, like in my hand, perfectly fine. And I don't know how long the knife is. I could probably tell you. I'll get an estimate for you. How about that? I'll get an estimate for you as best I can. So I got this little ruler here. So I'm going to be measuring in open position from the back of the handles to the tip of the blade. So let's see. Inches wise, it's around 9 inches, which isn't horrible, but it's a little short for me. It's about an inch shorter than what I like. I like a 10-inch knife. So, it being only 9 inches long, handles being only, I'm going to say 5 inches. Yeah, handles being 5 inches long. It's kind of like, it's weird to flip because of how short it is. Doesn't really bother me a bunch. But if you're used to a 10, 11, 10.25 inch knife, then I don't really recommend this because it's weird to flip. It's like saying you flipped like an Alpha Beast your entire life and you go down to a Benchmade 51. That's weird because the Benchmade 51 is a shorter knife, it's lighter, and it's just different. And you're used to flipping a longer Alpha Beast that's heavier, I think 4.9, 4.8 ounces. So it's just weird to flip because how short it is. This is the same way. I go from flipping my Kershaw Lucha to a knife like this. It's weird because I'm not used to a short knife or anything like that. I never really had a knife under 9 and 9.8 inches. So that's the only really bad things that I have to say about this knife. I don't care. But that's the only really bad things I have to say about this knife is it pinches kind of bad, so you have to adjust the way you're flipping. And it's just a little bit short. That's really it, in my opinion. But if you pick up this knife, you might have more cons than pros than I do. I have more pros than cons about this knife. So, random things just to point out that's kind of neutral for me. I do but don't like about the knife. It's just things to go over about the knife. So, this is just the knife itself. If you have never flipped a BBbarfly like a OG2, Pro V1, Pro V1.5, or their OG2 milled, this knife is going to feel really, really weird at first. The handle shape, the balance, it's just going to feel super weird. Because, I don't know, just something about the knife. Because when I picked up my Kershaw Lucha, then I flipped this thing, it felt so different. But not in a bad way. Not in a bad way at all. You just have to get used to the knife itself, which is basically every knife. But this knife specifically, if you've never flipped a BBbarfly before, you're going to be finding yourself like questioning it a lot. Not in a bad way, but not in a good way either. Just questioning the knife. So yeah, if you've never flipped a BBbarfly, it's not a major it's not a major difference, but you will feel a big difference in the knife. So, feeling a difference in the knife, it's a very, very little bit handle heavy. And that's why I don't mind it, but let's say this knife is stock right now, and I'll show you what that means. There are 2 brass spacers in each handle. So there's one, okay, let's get the safe handle out of the way. Let's do it by handle. So there's a brass spacer right there, and there is, how do I show it? There's a brass spacer right there. Same with the safe handle. There's a brass spacer right there and a brass spacer right there. Now with both of those brass spacers in, it is a little bit handle heavy. Tiny, tiny bit. It's not handle bias, just a tiny, tiny bit handle heavy. Now if you take those brass spacers out, you'll probably get a very, at least one or both of those brass spacers out. You might get a very, very neutral knife, which I don't personally like. I like this knife because it's a tad bit handle heavy. I don't mind a handle heavy knife. Now, if it was blade heavy, I wouldn't like it because blade heavy knives are super, super hard to flip. But just a tad bit handle heavy. It's weird to flip, but it's also really nice. So, staying on the subject of the handles, like I said, we're going to go over the handles. The handles are kind of has something to do with if you've never flipped a barfly before, it's going to feel weird. That's mainly because of these handles. You go from a skinny, width handle, and then you get thicker and thicker and thicker as you go up. And that's with both the handles, obviously. And if you look closely, you get super, super thick right here. Further you go back, it kind of thins up a little bit right here. But if you go back to where the spacers are, it thickens back up. Like I said, if you've never flipped a barfly, that's really weird. Because say you're fanning or you're doing a trick on this part of the handle where it's really, really thin, you're going to think oh, the handle's thin. But say if you move up to where it's really thick, you're going to be like, oh, that's weird, that's different, and stuff like that. But I mean, it's not bad at all. It obviously is going to take a little time to get used to. But yeah, once you get used to the handles, they're amazing. But that's all that I can think of off the top of my mind. Besides dropping it, that's the only thing it's the only things that I know about the knife that I can just name off the top of my head. So, as a personal opinion, do I recommend this knife? Absolutely. For $70, runs on bushings, and basically a perfect knife for $70, I highly recommend this knife. I'm going to be leaving a link of the Pro V1 and V2 and BBbarfly's website in the description, so you can look at these knives and stuff like that. So yeah, this knife is quite amazing. The blade is really dirty, actually. It's because I have oil all over it. But yeah, I highly recommend this knife. Whether you're getting into flipping, already been into flipping, it's just a great knife overall. And if you want something different to flip, this is the knife you need. It's amazing in every way possible. So yeah, I don't know any other than pinching and it being short, there's nothing really too bad about this knife. So yeah, that's really it that I can name off the top of my head. So now that we're done going over this knife, as you see in the title, I'm making a TikTok announcement. So now that we're done talking about the knife, let's go over this quick announcement, and then I'll close the video. So, as you know, I have been getting my videos taken down on TikTok left and right. Like, I have posted 3 times, like 3 days ago, and all 3 times they were taken down. My account has been heavily hit with just the community guidelines banning. So, I'm going to be quitting TikTok, and the only thing, I'm not fully quitting, but I'm not going to be posting flipping videos on TikTok. The only thing I'm going to be posting on is when videos are going up, the day they go up, when I record them, and stuff like that. But yeah, just wanted to make that little announcement. So yeah, that's really it for this video. This was like my impressions on the Pro V2. Freaking amazing knife. Highly recommend it. Phenomenal knife. Highly impressed with it. There's nothing really too bad about it, other than it being short and it pinching. This isn't a bad knife whatsoever. So, that's really it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is my BBbarfly Pro V2. Like I said, I want to leave a link in the description on it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So, I have more videos coming in the future that I'm going to try to record today and get out later in the week. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, push the bell notification to where you get flipping videos, tutorials, just flipping videos overall. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to try to get this video out sometime today, maybe if I can. I'm not sure. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment anything you want to know about the knife that I didn't mention. I'll reply to all the comments. Make sure you subscribe, like, and just, I don't know, enjoy the video. So yeah, see you guys. I'm going to try to get this video out as soon as possible. See ya.